Hey, hello, and welcome, Acadiana. I sound like George Faust, huh?
Yeah, sounds like the Faust phenom right here, but just no phenom.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
see,
us.
I saw him tonight at one of my games. That made me kind of think about him tonight.
How did but how
Well,
did his son do? We know Parker. We know Parker's elite. But I mean, George says that, but we got to know
yeah,
how he actually
but
did. I got to ask you
yeah,
every week how
but
you
I
did.
guess, we'll start off by getting into it. Acadiana, welcome to the First and 10 post game show. I'm Jalen Cavalier, and with me I have, as
They
always,
call me Dawson D'Amico.
and what's the nickname that you
Uh,
told him last week?
Hey, Dirty Dan. That's my alter ego, but y'all could just call me whatever y'all feel like it. That's just how I go. Let's fix this a little bit of it.
So
Can't even see myself. Come on now.
you got to
Jeez.
scoot on. You got to scoot on
I
in.
gotta see
Scoot
what's
on in.
there. But Jalen taking all the fun away.
So I guess I'm gonna start with our first game of the night tonight. Cecilia hosted Northside,
Yep.
fellow News 10 anchor Dalford Jones.
Yep. No, he was witness to it.
Yeah, Northside alum. He's witness to it. But
first quarter.
unfortunately, Northside ended up losing 64-25. Cecilia has a great team coming back. They state runner-up last year.
Yep.
Diesel Solari at quarterback, Brent Gordon Jr., who's at receiver and plays defensive back. And what's crazy is I didn't notice until I shot the highlights for the game. They both were on special teams, as you probably saw in
Wait,
first and
Diesel
10.
is too?
Oh yeah, they both Brent blocked
for this.
he blocked the punt, and Diesel, the quarterback, recovered it and was scored for a touchdown.
I heard he had quite the game today.
Yeah, and he just ran all over the field, touchdown to touchdown, and that quarterback wide receiver duo with them too.
Yeah.
Another touchdown, as you saw on first and 10. So it was a great win for Cecilia.
Yeah.
They moved to 2-1 on the year. Then, as we were talking earlier, just now, Notre Dame was at Rebel Field taking on Turlings. Now, as soon as I got there, literally Notre Dame was lining up for the field goal with 6 seconds left before halftime. I was like, oh, I got to hurry.
That feels.
Yeah, I was like, let me hurry up and get in focus, hurry up and get to the highlight. They made the field goal 7-3 at the half. Then Notre Dame came in the second half, and then unfortunately, I know George doesn't want to hear this, but Parker Faust was picked off by the Rebel defender, and then literally the next play later, Rebel quarterback Maddox Domain threw a deep ball to his receiver. A Pio defender fell to the ground, and unfortunately for the Pios, the Rebels were able to score, and they went on to win 21-10. So it was still a great game, great night of football.
George always said that Notre Dame versus Turlings was always a kind of a decent rivalry they've always had, and I was looking forward to seeing how that game went.
Yeah, so Turlings got the win this time around. Both teams played great, I would say. So
you want to know what a great game was? I was out there in New Iberia, my people in the Berry. Shout out to all of them. I was at the Westgate game, and they played LCA. LCA's beat them 4 years in a row, so Westgate was trying to come in really hot to be able to come in with this one. The atmosphere for every Westgate game I go to, it's always really fun and very excited. The culture that they've built over there, from the coaching staff, the fans, you can just tell that everybody's into that team. And they recently won state. I think it was not too long ago, and you can just tell that they mean business every game day, especially at Tiger Stadium. Every time I go over there, that's why I always say Westgate's probably the most fun team that I pay attention to. I mean, not only is it because it's New Iberia, they have the talent and the athleticism and just the energy to back it up, and it all the coaching staff buys into it and the players buy into it, and you can really credit Coach Ryan Antoine for that. And speaking of Antoine, that quarterback Jabari Antoine, I don't know if there's any relation there, but that boy is good. Very first play from scrimmage, he runs, I think it was a 60-yard scramble. I got all messed up with my camera angle. I thought he was going left. He ended up showing up right, and he went all the way down the field. Very first play of the game. They ended up scoring. Very next possession, they drive down the field, score again. LCA, I mean, they weren't giving up on that. I mean, LCA is a big program. You've known what they've been capable of for the past few years.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they don't have Juwan Johnson anymore, but they're still a good team, And I mean, LCA, they were still going on. They were able to score. There was one play where they did a little screen pass. You hear Coach Antoine on Westgate's side yelling, "Screen, screen, screen," but it didn't stop them.
Yeah.
And that didn't prevent anything from happening. That didn't prevent LCA from being able to make it in. It was just an athletic play. Both of those teams very, very high quality games, and it was a great score altogether. We got my boy JB in this.
I'm coming to crash the party. I love my earpiece.
He gets enough airtime on first and 10.
I miss my boys.
Give us some a little bit.
I miss my boys.
Hey, how was your game today? What they did?
Real good. Defensive battle at STM between STM and Acadiana. Second week in a row that STM ends up losing. This time to Acadiana last week against Catholic BR. Defensive battle. Only touchdown I was there for, Brian Broussard Jr. He returned a 50-plus yard scoop and score, fumble recovery. And then over at Lafayette, it was a straight party. Mamu in Lafayette for homecoming night. I got there, and you know what the first chant that I heard was?
Oh, God, is that appropriate?
It is very appropriate.
Let's hear it.
It's tuba. They wanted to hear some tuba from the band.
Okay.
And did they get a lot of tuba? Yeah, they got a lot of tuba. So they were celebrating Cavante Landry. He scored a touchdown. They had a nice pick to set up that drive. Overall, great night of football, and I can only really thank you guys for that.
We can thank him. He gives us the opportunity.
You know, we can't sit up there and take all the credit, JB. Come on now.
JB always is.
Sit up there.
I know they were worried about Brian Broussard even be able to play today because he had hurt his wrist last week. So it's good to see that he's still playing and he's still making plays at the same time. So that's always good to see. STM, 2-game losing streak. When's the last time you heard about them doing that, right?
Well, you know what's worse than 2-game losing streak?
Oh, gosh.
And I'm not trying to refer SpongeBob 24-25, but a 3-game losing streak for the Karen Crow Bears, who lost to Zachary this evening by 1 point.
Dang. And that's crazy. You're seeing what they were able to do last year. Yes, they did get beat by my Archbishop Shaw Eagles in the playoffs last year. But we know Karen Crow has always been a good program, and to see them 0-3, that's it's unlike them. They're better than what their record says they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Hopefully they'll be able to figure it out because when Karen Crow is doing good, Acadiana football is doing good. Speaking of Acadiana football, how was the game of the week this weekend? It was Church Point versus Rain. Did you see what happened? I know Church Point was able to take the victory, but anything specific from the game that you did notice that I don't know. I wasn't able to watch it. We're busy doing our own games, but I don't know if you saw any of the highlights or anything. But I'm sure it was a great game. Isn't that a rivalry game?
Yeah, it is a rivalry game. I covered Church Point a couple of years ago when they had different coaching staff, but the team was still detail oriented. They like to run the ball, like to
go Bears. Shout out Andy Thibodeau. Go Bears.
Yeah, shout out to you. But no, Rain tried to avenge a bad loss against Northwest last week. Unfortunately, they weren't able to win, but Church Point's been a great team this year. And we should have brought JB back on because he was the one who went to both practices, and got both teams this week.
Oh, wait, there he is. Here he is. Hey, tuck that right side of your shirt in.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to show off the merchandise.
No, talk about the game of the week. You went to both practices.
Yeah,
baby,
so
you gotta let them know.
The entire week, the whole conversation was surrounded by bragging rights. Two teams, they're spaced out probably 10 minutes from each other. And there's no bad blood over there. They understand, at the end of the day, they grew up playing with these kids in park ball. They also grew up playing with them, in middle school, leading into high school. So a lot of, good vibes, but very high competition.
Yeah, and that's what
Great game out there tonight. And that's what we love out of our game of the week. A lot of people were expecting STM and Acadiana to take home that game of the week honors this week. But Acadiana, they surprise us every once in a while, boys.
Every now and then. A rivalry game that always brings fun attention to any sport. It could be Saints versus Falcons. Everybody says that.
Oh, rivalry.
Or you can bring in Church Point versus Rain. You never know. LCA versus STM. That's another one. But that's what makes football fun. Is like the storylines that brings in. Westgate trying to avenge 4 losses in a row.
That's
to
crazy.
LCA.
4 losses in a row.
4 in a row. Guess what happened? They ended up winning tonight. So as I know of, it looked like that was the trend that was happening. Our last score update was in the third quarter, but it looked like it was trending to where LCA was finally gonna take that loss after 4 years in a row to Westgate. I love high school football. I know everybody else over here does. We have games of the week next week that y'all can vote on. I know y'all know. I already know what y'all know about that. I know.
So I might as well just pull them up right
here.
So I'm gonna just say the 4 games that are up for game of the week next week.
Okay.
So we have Jennings taking on Northwest. All right. We got Turlings taking on Westgate.
Ooh, catch me over there.
Team you talked about earlier. Lafayette taking on Southside.
That's gonna be a nice one.
And then we have Vermilion Catholic taking on ERAF. A matchup right there. 2 teams. Abbeville's right there by ERAF.
Yep.
So
ERAF, they're actually having a surprisingly better season this year. I don't know if they won this week, but JB and I were checking them out. They were only 2-1 coming in, I think they were 1-1 coming in. So if they won today, they'd be 2-1. Vermilion was undefeated coming in, so that might be a good game. But Turlings versus Westgate, y'all know I got a little bias. I just said it earlier. Westgate and Turlings, that might be a game of the week. I'm looking forward to it. What else you got to look forward to is Athlete of the Week. We had Play of the Week that y'all can vote on. Do all of the above. Guys, there's so much interaction that y'all can do here on First and 10, and you can do all that at KLFY.com.
So Speaking of athlete of the week, I don't know if you guys saw this past Thursday, Candy Schufert, Abbeville Junior Powerlifter, first athlete of the week. So keep nominating, keep sending us nominations. We're reading the emails, everybody. We're seeing it. We're seeing who you want to nominate, and we're doing a deep dive and just going to see who deserves to be the athlete of the week. And that's just one. There's many, many more to come.
Yeah, and my boy Jalen about to be get the scoop on all the athletes of the week. Anytime y'all need somebody to tune in and y'all want somebody to be able to get that highlight they need, my boy Jalen got that. That's what his specialty is, and he's going to be able to do it in the best way possible. You know how it is.
I appreciate that, partner. Appreciate that so much.
I love that. I watched a little Toy Story. I know a little bit.
All four.
I didn't watch the fourth one. The third one made me cry, so I had to go. But when we start talking about Toy Story, I guess we're gonna have to wrap it up after that.
I guess I might need to get my locks on the bear, but that's enough for us.
We have to get cool with that. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Of course, stay tuned next week. We need the coverage. We need more people to tune in and be able to interact with us, because all we want to do is be able to, after 1st and 10, jump on here and talk with you guys. So as always, I appreciate y'all showing up. I'm Dawson D'Amico.
And I'm Jalen Cavalier.
1st and 10 post show. Catch us next week, everybody.
Week 4 of the high school football season.
Absolutely. Let's get it.